Simplicity is the final achievement. After one has played a vast quantity of notes and more notes, it is simplicity that emerges as the crowning reward of art. Frederic Chopin. My friends, do you see how so many of these quotes we give you on simplicity talk about how important it is to focus on what works, to practice to show yourself approved, to get so good that you're able to break things down to the bare essentials. That is why we use the charts we use. We talk all the time about analysis paralysis, having too many checklists that you can never make a decision or that you second guess yourself. That is why we use the price percent oscillator, the derivative oscillator. That's why we use the Bollinger Bands and the Heiken Ashi candlesticks. Again, we use these things because they work. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. This is a dynamic marketplace with literally millions and millions of different variables that are involved. You are never guaranteed success. But if you learn the rules, if you follow the rules, if you pay attention, if you cut your losses, if you do over and over again the things that are correct, you will be a winner. We ask you to follow the charts with us every day, 10 to 15 minutes, tracking, practice trading to show yourself approved. Let's jump into these charts. First thing that we're going to do, I just realized that we're still in the post market. Just fixed it. Just put it on regular hours. The charts we use every day are TC2000. That's the paid version of freestockcharts.com. There is a coupon for $25 off your subscription. Follow that if you're interested. If you're going to get serious about this, you need to subscribe. It's not very expensive. You can go there and sign up. The good folks at Warden Brothers will be happy to help you out. Let's jump into these charts. Everything down for the day, my friends. Everything. Including Bitcoin. Let's first jump into the S&P 500. We see this prior week, the high was 424.63. So far this week, 425.46. So not quite up a dollar on $425 plus each share. So again, not too much of an up move. Look at the divergence we see as price goes higher. The price percent oscillator does not cross. In fact, it goes lower, as does the derivative oscillator. So again, price is edging up slowly, but it is just not something the charts want to acknowledge. Check out what's going on here. Where the prior two-day candle ended on Friday, the latest two-day candle represents Monday and Tuesday, and look, it still won't cross over going up. The high that we see, 425.46, the prior 424.63. So again, just not enough to cross it over. Derivative oscillator, been positive for 6 days, but that price percent oscillator just won't cross. What do we see on the half day? Here's part of the reason. We see how things are moving up and sideways, up some and sideways. That is making it very difficult for our price percent oscillator to do much for us. Both the small one and the larger, the two-day and the weekly. We need to have nice trending markets. Now, this is part of the problem that we have in the summertime trading zone period. We didn't talk about the summertime trading zone last year because during the COVID crunch, the COVID crisis, if you look back, the fall-winter trading zone was pretty non-existent. You can see where markets just zoomed up. It was indeed crazy after the COVID crash. And again, they zoomed down. You can see how well the price percent oscillator and the derivative oscillator worked there. Crossed over at the same time going up. Unbelievably, they just rocketed after just crashing. So again, that's when the price percent oscillator works really well, when you have trending markets. Part of the problem, summertime trading zone, is that there's a lot of volume taken out of the market. People go on vacation. The big players are out. So what happens? The market just sluggishly, without a lot of volume, tries to move along. So that's part of what's going on. Don't get frustrated. Keep practice trading. If you can find your way in the summertime trading zone and make some profitable practice trades, count yourself skilled. Okay, let's move on to the Qs. What's going on there? Well, we look at the Qs on the weekly chart reaching a higher high, but just won't cross over yet. The derivative oscillator is about zeroed out. Price percent oscillator still negative, even though we have those uptrending markets when it comes to Heikin-Ashi candlesticks. 2-day crossed over back on the 2-day candle ending Monday, the 7th of June. And we have 6 days of up movement as the price percent oscillator pulls away from the red signal line. If this market does crash, we're going to be ready for it, at least on this chart, with a 2-day recross going down if that occurs. Or it's going to be enough momentum, maybe even by the end of the week, to pull that price percent oscillator going up. Don't know one way or the other. What do we see with the half day? Half day actually down in the morning, further down in the afternoon. Did not penetrate the half day trend line, but price percent oscillator positive but heading down. Derivative oscillator, 1.5 days of down movement. Devolution, as we might call that. Let's go out of stocks to bonds. Bonds down for the day also, but that price percent oscillator still heading up. Derivative oscillator gaining some upward momentum. We can see we've not reached a higher high this week yet. Don't know that we will. You can see that also in the 2-day chart that is losing some momentum. Price percent oscillator losing some momentum. Derivative oscillator about flat. You can see a red open box candle. That's a slowdown in the up movement forming. And of course, we look at the half day that crossed over going down in the morning on Tuesday and then recovered a little bit in the afternoon. But again, moving down after heading up for a while. So pay close attention to that 2-day and the weekly chart as things move along with 20-year government bonds, U.S. government bonds. Let's go to gold. Gold did great for us, didn't it, guys? That weekly vertical crossover in gold was just sweet spot. A good, what was that? Somewhere in the neighborhood of about a $10, $12 up move, almost 13. Not bad. That was just beautiful over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Just gorgeous. Now the last 2 weeks slowing down and rolling over this week. Hasn't crossed over going down yet, so we're not giving up hope, but that derivative oscillator deflating, price percent oscillator still positive but flat. 2-day. Now the 2-day, we can see this latest one ended going down. Monday, Tuesday. So what does that do to us? Of course, that takes us out of any up move in gold. If you had foolishly waited that long, there was no good reason to do that. We've talked about that, but we'll go ahead and mark that as a 2-day crossover going down. It's not a recross. It's going in the opposite direction of the 2-day. I'm sorry, of the weekly, the biggest chart. Hopefully, this will rotate back around, which would then be a 2-day recross. That would be going up in the same direction as the weekly. That happens, we'll jump back into an up move on gold, but it's not happening now as the derivative oscillator accelerates down. Price percent oscillator has confirmed a crossover going down. Half day, it's been going down for a while. Even though there have been some up moves, it's been losing momentum and moving down. We see the price percent oscillator heading down, derivative oscillator heading down. That's it for our 4 big charts. What about Bitcoin? Bitcoin down for the day, friends. Yes, even though we had a big up day yesterday, we can see on the weekly, let's go there first, how the week is trying to build an up, green up candle. It's very, very small, long wick on top, little one on the bottom. Price percent oscillator still heading down, losing some of that downward momentum. Derivative oscillator losing a little downward momentum. Overall, though, strong down. 2-day still down, but again has formed the first green up candle that we have seen since all the way back in about the 10th of May. So it has been a while. Hasn't crossed over yet, but that needs to occur typically before the weekly. Sometimes the 2-day and the weekly can cross at the same time, but that's not what's setting up here. Derivative oscillator losing downward momentum, price percent oscillator negative, but heading up. And the half day, of course, it crossed over going up back on Thursday the 10th. And of course, green up candles until today. We can see on Tuesday a slowdown in the up movement, and pretty much, that was in the morning, pretty much at the end of the day, a doji. Lots of indecision, derivative oscillator losing some momentum, price percent oscillator still heading up. Overall, though, Bitcoin still has a lot of downward pressure. We've got to have that 2-day rotate over going up, then carrying with it the weekly going up for you to have any good prospects of jumping into a practice trade on Bitcoin. Still too dangerous. That's where we are, folks, as we end the day. Thank you for everyone who's purchased our books. We have an autographed copy waiting for you. If you don't have Charting Your Way to Wealth, we'll get it to you. Also, Patreon supporters, I have opened up a few more Patreon spots for our $30 a month members. That includes for you, of course, every week we send out up to 20 weekly vertical crossovers. Try to find 10 good ones up, 10 good ones down on the S&P 500, always giving you something to practice, trade, and learn on. Of course, our monthly live question and answer session where we answer your questions about the charts. And we also take suggestions for stocks and ETFs to review for you for practice trading, help you backtrack and understand what it's all about, and if it's something that you have the possibility of successfully practice trading. In addition to that, our 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way, if you're interested in options, learning all about them, being able to start practice trading. And that's where we are, folks, at the end of the day on Tuesday as we go into Wednesday. God bless you all from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.